I would like to go ahead and introduce our next presenter. This is Gabe. Gabe has been your
All right, before I begin, I just would like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to come visit my presentations. And as she said, my name is Gabe GCuozzo, and I chose to do physical disabilities. I chose this through my life of football. It was interesting to me that, for me personally, I've never been hurt. So to look at the other side of it was cool to me. And to begin this, I started my internship at a physical therapy office. And as you can see on your left is my original mentor, Dr. Keith Rathbone, who attended the University of St. Augustine for 7 years. And he's been running Montpelier Physical Therapy for roughly 10 years. And then he also introduced me to his two physical therapy assistants, Charlene is on the right and Patience on the left, who both have degrees in physical therapy assistance, which is only 2 years in college. And Charlene attended Riverside University and Patience attended South University. So for me personally, I thought it was cool that I had 3 different mentors that I could go to the physical therapy place and shadow and get different viewpoints throughout the day. While I was there, I got to work with the patients with the mentors and without for a couple patients. So as you can see, there are different equipment that I learned how to use. There's the red and blue one that is used for strengthening grip. This is a Bosu ball. I got to try out a lot of the equipment by myself, and I got to help the patients with the Bosu ball. It's used for balance, so you stand on it and you screw balls into the bottom of it, and it's supposed to like challenge your balance. So that was cool to work with. And in the top right was one of the mentors' kinesiology textbooks from her college. So she let me take a look at that because both Charlene and Patience were also job shadowers at a physical therapy place. So I found it was cool that they encouraged me to ask questions and all this stuff. And before I really started my internship, I was thinking to myself, is this what I want to do when I grow up? And to the conclusion, I found that this is not as coming in every day and completing the same routine, although it may be with different patients, rehabilitating them. I need something new in my life. So I don't think the repetitiveness is something I can do every day. So it is a positive, but I'm just glad I got it out of the way now. This then led me to my research, which is prosthetic evolution and how the engineering and material usage has changed over time to better the prosthetics. I put this quote up here because it flows well with my research, as it says, don't live the same year 75 times and call it life, because if this was true, the prosthetics would be the same as they were in the 1900s. You'd be walking on wooden planks. You wouldn't have kangaroo legs or normal prosthetics, as Jason mentioned earlier. Jump right in. I found that prosthetic evolution over time, the materials have become better and more efficient. And then the design of them, as you can see, it started off as a little peg leg to what we have now is called kangaroo legs, which improves the non-able-bodied athletes to strive over their normal human competitors. And an example of this is a German triple jumper named Marcus Rimm. He wanted to try out for the triple jump team in Germany, but because he had this kind of prosthetic, the kangaroo on the far right, and all the other competitors had normal human appendages, they thought it was unfair. So they let him jump one time, and he ended up getting roughly like 28 feet when the normal male triple jump is like 25 or 26 feet. So they found that it was unfair for him to participate on that team because he was so above his competition due to his prosthetics. And staying on the topic of physical disabilities, this led to me to talk to my community service mentor, Miss Osterheld, who is an adaptive teacher at the school. And I wanted to get together with her and work with her physically and mentally disabled students to kind of bring attention and integration that they are also just like us and they need the same treatment as us. So me and her got down and sat together and we talked how to best do this, because every year they have a basketball game and everyone's invited to that. So I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to be able to have the opportunity to coach these kids in kind of a like mentorish way, like be their mentor to teach them. So I planned out a big pep rally with the game called Melon Ball, which is a cross between tennis and foursquare. So the net is on the bottom of a volleyball thing, and you bounce it over with your hands, and it has to bounce, and then you hit it back. So my biggest challenge with this, I think, was the organization and coaching these kids, as Miss Ode informed me before I started. Some of these kids don't take to new activities well, so I thought it was cool that when I started doing practices with them like 2 times a week, that they started being excited about it. They were ready to play. They started learning the rules. And by the week before the pep rally came, the practices got more intense and they could play by their own for 10, 15 minutes and they'd have a blast. And to see the expressions on their faces was just priceless. And through this, I also gained a bunch of lifelong friends in the adaptive students. And I believe the students in our school, they were all invited and they saw this melon ball game take place at the pep rally. I think they all understand now that to integrate and appreciate these students just the same as we do, and how people appreciate us, that it needs to be the same for these students. And there was also 2 other activities for the other students. There was a relay race and a sing-along, so that everyone could participate in the pep rally so they don't get sidetracked and not listening. And then as you can see, we also had, we called them buddies for the wheelchair adaptive students. They were able to push the wheelchair up to the net and hand them the ball, and they were able to participate and serve the ball over the net. And personally, this has made me grow as a man. I've gained professional communication, how to act in a professional setting without goofing off or talking to a professional as if they were my friend. So like the interviews I had to do with the physical therapist, Dr. Keith Rathbone, the interview I do with Ms. O, that really showed me that I have to be able to sit down and talk to people without goofing off and being who I am. My future plans, as physical therapy didn't work out, I plan to attend JMU to study biology instead of physical therapy, because biology is something new every day. You can do new experiments. There's live organisms. I don't know if I want to do something specific with it, but right now the whole biology realm is cool to me, as I'm taking Bio 102 right now, D, and it's quite an interesting class. And this is another thing that I really enjoyed about my community service. This is a poster that Miss O's students made for me, and it says, "Thank you, Coach Gabe." So every time I see them in the hallway now, they always say, "Hey, Coach Gabe," and that just makes my heart beat a little bit because it's so nice. And they all signed it, but I would also like to thank all the administrators I've ever had, all my friends, past and present, and my parents, because they've really made me who I am today and made me allowed me to do this presentation today. So now I would like to open the floor to some questions. Yes, sir. It was on prosthetic evolution and how the materials and design has made them better. No, but I did see how, so 2 patients both had ACL things. So I did see how if one patient was up to pace on his at-home routine, so you could see the visual difference of how much better he did the routine than another patient who didn't do any at-home exercises. Yes. The most interesting thing is just how, let's see, probably how much faster the kangaroo prosthetic makes you run on a track compared to normal legs, as I'm sure you all know who Oscar Pistorius is. It made him run a lot faster than his competitors, so I found that pretty cool. I mean, I feel like they should have a separate league, or not like the Challenger League, because they're far above that now. So a separate prosthetic league, like the Olympics, kind of like the Paralympics, but still at a higher level, and let these prosthetic participants participate in that, and let the human appendage participants participate in theirs. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that there should be set rules that you cannot use any equipment that makes you better than your competition, that you should all be getting the same stuff. You're welcome. Thank you. Can you hold this again? I'm putting my coat.